Yeah, so I've actually, I've had a thing for sharks since I was little. But in preparation for this job, I had to really take it seriously. I took a month to visit the Galapagos Islands with a professional shark wrangler who trained me extensively in the behavioral patterns of sharks.
Really scary.
Okay.
My grandparents had a cottage in northern Ontario, and I would go swimming in lakes up there. And I would always think, like, when I was swimming, because the water's pretty murky, you can't really see much, I would imagine what it would look like to see just teeth coming out of that murkiness. The reason I picked a bull shark is because it does survive in fresh water. We think, like, oh, you can never have a shark in a lake, but with a bull shark, you literally could if somebody just transplanted it into the lake. So that's kind of terrifying.
We thought that the great white actually looked a little bit more interesting, but it made sense on a scientific basis to do that because it can be in fresh water and salt water. So that was really the motivation factor that was the catalyst for us to do the bull shark.
Artists spend most of their lives learning how to sculpt and draw people. There's not a lot of people in the world that can make a nice, real-world looking shark.
Brian is one of those guys that we've been trying to hire for like years. I always would joke with the other guys, like, someday we'll get Brian. The interesting thing is we actually didn't know Brian was so obsessed with sharks.
I think having a shark wedding cake, it gave me a little bit of like, okay, yeah, like we trust him, let him do his thing. When we were creating our shark, we wanted it to be a culmination of all of your favorite things about your favorite types of shark. So it was taking all these different things to make our player's shark its own.
In the beginning of the game, we wanted the player to be able to experience what it's like to be a very powerful shark. You're able to experience that right out of the gate. But then you go back to being a baby shark. Eventually you get to a very big shark.
Every time I show the shark, if the viewer's first reaction is, I want to play as that shark, it was a really nice gut check for the character team to where we could really focus on the player shark.
You're the alpha shark. You train long and hard for this.
However you feel about the situation is how the shark's feeling. If you want to be a vengeful shark, you can be a vengeful shark.
You can be the kind of stealthy shark. We're not trying to frame the shark as evil, but if the player wants to wreck the joint, they have that opportunity in this game.
The shark differences in size and its scales, they have to sound different so that you feel rewarded as a player.
So when you start out as the pup, we want you to feel more of like a small fish in an aquarium, right? So the world around you is like big and scary and intimidating. And so the motions of the pup shark are going to be like very light, almost like a goldfish. But then as you grow, we really want to sell that feeling of weight and terror and power. And so the motions become much more deliberate and slow and driving.
In order to make it feel more engaging to the player to be a shark, there's going to be things like tail whip attack or being able to breach out of the water and grab things off of vehicles, grab people, destroy vehicles. There's kind of a ram or a dash that you can do to gain speed and then smash into things.
Creating a player experience where you really feel the power. It's a power fantasy, right? When the player plays as our shark and they feel the weight of the jaws chomping on something, and when they grab something and they shake it and they see those things flailing around, if I can create that sense of weight and power and energy for the player, where there's a move that they just love to do over and over and over again, it never gets old.
I really feel this is my life's calling. We pulled out all the stops. You really can't go half-assed on this sort of thing. And I just can't wait for you guys to see the shark. Oh, wait for it. You're gonna love it.